Welcome students of Standard 10. As part of your revision, today I'm going to discuss about these topics. The first one is compilation, both ordinary as well as Java compilation. Then we'll discuss about certain terms like platform, bytecode, Java C or JIT, JVM. Then types of Java programs, applets and the application, that is internet applet and standalone applications. Then we have another few terms that we will be discussing like Unicode, escape sequence, and of course tokens. So what do you understand by compilation? Compilation means converting the source code into an object code with the help of a language processor. These language processors may be either compiler or interpreter, or both compiler as well as interpreter. So when we talk about compilation, let's divide this compilation into two types. The first being the ordinary compilation. In case of ordinary compilation, the source code, that is the code that is written in high level language or the user's language, is directly converted into object code in the presence of either compiler or the interpreter related to the programming language. So the object code is basically the machine instruction code, or the code that is expressed in terms of zeros and ones, or also known as binary codes. So here, in case of ordinary compilation, the source code directly gets converted into object code. In case of Java compilation, the source code at first gets converted into an intermediate code in the presence of Java compiler known as Java C, that is Java compiler, or JIT, that is just in time compiler. This particular intermediate code is platform independent and is also known as bytecode. Whereas in case of ordinary code, it was known as native executable code. I'll tell you why it was called native executable code. Here the bytecode is platform independent. That means it can work on any given combination of hardware and software. That's why it is known as platform independent. This bytecode, in the presence of Java virtual machine, which is also known as the interpreter of Java, is converted into object code. So in case of ordinary language, that is ordinary compilation, the code that was formed, the resultant code or the object code that was formed, was known as native executable code. Reason? That it would work only for those platforms for which it has been created. It will not work in case of other platforms. Whereas in case of Java, it is platform independent and therefore it can work on any given platforms. Let's come back to the next one, that is platform then. So what is a platform? A platform is any combination of hardware and system software. When we talk about system software, it also means operating system along with language processors. In Java, the platform refers to the combination of Java API, that is application programming interface, which contains the library of Java. Okay, and this library of Java is made up of a group of packages, classes, objects, functions. So there are so many things that are involved in the API, or they are present. Bytecode, when you talk about bytecode, is an intermediate code formed as a result of source code in the presence that is compiled in the presence of Java compiler known as Java C or JIT. This bytecode is platform independent and can work on any given platforms. It is further converted into object code in the presence of Java virtual machine or the Java interpreter. Then you have the JAVAC or the JIT. It is the interpreter of Java, just-in-time compiler we call it. Sorry, it is a compiler of Java, that is Java C or Java compiler or just-in-time compiler. It converts the source code into an intermediate code which is platform independent and also known as bytecode. JVM or the Java virtual machine is an is the interpreter of Java. It is a pseudocode, means a false code. Why it is called a false code? It's not real, it's abstract. It exists logically. So it is a logical code or a pseudocode that exists over the physical processor and helps the processor in working. Okay, it enhances the workability of the physical processor. So it converts the bytecode into an object code. Then we have the types of Java programs. Java programs can be classified into two types. First one is internet applet or applet simply, and the second one is standalone application or simply application. Applet, first of all, it does not require a class for coding or compilation. So applet does not require, neither it requires coding, compilation. It just has to be coded. It does not require a class. It can simply be executed, but the applet has to be executed with the help of a browser. Without a browser, we cannot execute the applet programs. Application, on the other hand, is platform independent. However, it requires a class for coding as well as compilation. So without a class, application will not work. So it's a member of the class. It has to have a class. Without a class, it cannot function. It cannot be compiled. It cannot be executed. However, it is platform independent. When I said, that means it can be used, applied on any platform. It can work on any given platform. So it is platform independent, unlike applet, which is totally dependent on the web browser. Then we have the next one, that is the Unicode. Uni stands for universal code. So universal code is a 16 character long, a set of characters, or a character set we call them, which is universally accepted. There are more than 65,000 characters, Unicodes present. A particular Unicode is identified by /u, which is an escape sequence, followed by a 4 characters hexadecimal values. Unicode contains all the characters of every languages spoken across the globe. There are about, as I said, more than 65,000 characters or character sets or Unicodes. Out of these, 256 are recognized and 128 of them are represented in the ASCII format. That is, 32 is for the space, blank space. 48 to 57 represents the ASCII value of 0 to 9. 65 to 90 represents the ASCII value of that is corresponding English alphabets, that is capital in uppercase, and of course the rest, that is 97 to 122 represents the small a to small z, while the rest represents other types of symbols, the symbols that we have in our keyboard. An escape sequence basically it is a non-graphical characters. So that means these characters, they do not appear on the screen. However, the action which they predict or they produce or they exhibit appears. Like for example, /t. /t represents a horizontal tab. /v represents a vertical tab. /n represents a new line. So in this case, what happens is these escape sequences are, these, like for example, a /t by itself does not get printed as /t. However, the action which it exhibited, what is the action that it exhibits? It gives a space, horizontal space of 4 to 6 columns. And that's why in many of the programs you might have noticed that we have been using /t as an escape sequence. A particular escape sequence, if you want to print, if you want to make it as a graphical character, then in that case you have to add another slash just before the escape sequence. Like you have a /t, so add another slash. So if you write it as /t, then it becomes the /t will be printed. Okay, so it destroys it converts the non-graphical character into a graphical character. Then of course, tokens. What are tokens? Tokens, they are the smallest individual unit of a program. Okay, and of course they include the smallest parts of a program. When you look at a program, what happens? You have a class, then your keyword is there, class name is there, then you have the variables, the data types, the semicolon, that is the punctuations. So they all comprises what is known as tokens. So there are 5 types of tokens present in Java. We can call them as 5 kilos. The first one is your keywords, the second identifiers, the third literals, the fourth operators, and the fifth are called separators. So keywords, what are keywords basically? Keywords are the reserved words that carry a special meaning to the compiler and the interpreter of Java. Identifiers are the building blocks of a program. It refers to the name that is given to a variable, to a function, to a class, to an object, okay, to an array, etc. Then keywords, of course, a particular keyword should always be written in small letters, in lowercase. Keywords cannot be identifiers. Similarly, identifiers cannot be keywords. Identifiers can be of any length. Identifiers does not include any symbol except the underscore and the dollar sign. So these are the rules for identifiers. Then we have the literals. These are the values, or also known as constants, that are assigned to the variables. There are different types of literals available in Java, like the integer literal. Now integer literal, when we talk about, it refers to the whole number. Then we have the floating literals, or which includes the fractional number like 7.5 or 0.8 or 8.9 or 9.0. These are all floating literals. Then we have character literals. A character literal, remember, what is a character basically? A character refers to any digit, any alphabet, or any symbol enclosed within single inverted comma. So therefore a character literal is always enclosed within single inverted comma. A character literal can be brought to all sort of mathematical calculations. Then we have the string literal. A string literal basically is a single character or a group of characters enclosed within double inverted comma or double quotes. A string literal cannot be brought to mathematical calculations. It can only be concatenated using the plus operator, or the string function is there called concat. Then we have the Boolean literals. The Boolean literals are basically used to provide the result of a condition. The result of a condition may either be in terms of true or in terms of false. Then we have the separators, also known as punctuators. Okay, sorry. Then we have there is a last literal, that was null. So the null literal is basically, it holds the initial values of integer as 0, floating as 0.0, character as single inverted comma with space, and string as double inverted comma without space, or null, null, as the initial value or the default value. So that was about the literals. Then you move on to separators. Separators, when you talk about separators, these are also known as punctuators. These are symbols that are used at various options at various places when in a program, and they have their own special meaning. There are 9 types of separators. The first one is open close parenthesis. Then the second is your open close blocks, that is curly braces representing block, and the parenthesis representing function. Then open and close square brackets representing an array. Semicolon, end of a statement. Comma, which separates similar data types. Full stop means a belong to or an instance of. When you write system.out or println, that println belongs to a variable, an object called out, and the out means output, and the out object belongs to a class called system. So in the next class, of course, we will start about this operator. I will tell you. Operator basically are symbols that are used to allow the user to perform all types of calculations, both logical as well as mathematical. So in the next class, we will see the operators and the operator related some more information. So till then, take care, all the best, be safe and sound. God bless each one of you.